Eventually, by Leela Malfoy on AO3. Episode 7, Chapter 7. Mike and Will both face each other in the darkness. The only sound Mike could hear was their tentative breathing. A buzz came through the room, corner lights flickering on. A blue-yellow haze suddenly illuminated the room, the yellow catching against Will's cheeks. The emergency lights. I guess Hawkins still hates us, Will commented. His tone would accompany with an eye roll. Mike huffed, turning around and leaning against the lockers, letting himself sit against the sticky floor. When we leave, we should have a party to celebrate. Will chuckled and followed, sitting on the ground next to him. He shifted closer so that if Mike were to just slightly bend his knees, he would knock against Will's. The silence was deafening, the only sound being the hum of the emergency lights. Mike couldn't take it. I kept it. Mike sputtered. Mike felt Will's eyes on him then, but he kept going, unable to stop himself. I kept the painting. I didn't know why it meant so much. When you said I was the heart, it made me feel brave. You made me feel like I deserved it. You are brave, Mike. Will responded, his voice quiet. Not like you are. Mike turned to face him, his expression open. He was sure he looked terrified. Will, you're the bravest person I have ever met. And think I think that's why I would have tried to listen. Mike puffed out a breath. I used to look at it and think that maybe I wasn't useless. It made me feel like I mattered. You made me feel like I mattered. Will laughed quietly, embarrassed. Even in the yellow light that was hitting Will's face, Mike could see the way his cheeks darkened. You're not useless, Mike, Will said, looking him in the eye now. It was open now, too, a small smile on his face. When I said in the van about you not treating Elle differently, do you remember that? Mike nodded stiffly. Yes. I meant that about me, too. Will confirmed, setting his hands on his knees. He looked away from Mike when he spoke next, as if he needed the courage. Even after the upside down, you never treated me any differently. I was always just Will to you. Everyone around me treated me like a freak or like I needed to be coddled, but not you. You made me feel like I mattered too. If we're both go crazy, we could go crazy together. Will, Mike said, demanding Will's attention. Will looked to him curiously, and Mike continued before his wits had left him. I'm sorry. About everything. I'm sorry you felt like you couldn't tell me about the painting. I'm sorry that I wouldn't have listened the way you needed me to. You're listening now, Will said, like acceptance. Like what he was doing, now, is enough. Mike huffed out a quiet laugh. Better late than never, I guess. That caught Will off guard, because he threw his head back and laughed. It was the kind of laugh that made everything else fade into the ground, as if Will had a spotlight shining down on him. And Mike couldn't help himself. Not really. Before he could think about the consequences, or the nagging shame that filled him, he slid his hand around Will's cheeks and kissed him. Mike felt warmth settle over him as he kissed Will, like something finally settled into place. His mind went blurry, and he got complete tunnel vision. And Mike let out a groan from the back of his throat when Will kissed him back. And holy shit, he was kissing a boy. He was kissing Will. This wasn't nothing. This was everything. Will's lips were soft, but demanding, as he slid his arms around Mike's shoulder, pulling him in closer. Mike scrambled up to his knees, to be closer to him, steadying himself with a hand on Will's waist. A shot of euphoric heat soared through Mike, right through his body, setting at his navel. It felt so right. Mike's lips slightly curved up against his best friend's in relief. He kissed Will, as if he was supposed to be kissing him, and only him all this time, as if there was no time left in the world. It was frantic, charged. Will's lips parted, giving Mike the opening to explore Will's mouth with his tongue. Mike squeezed Will's waist, and Will let out a desperate, keening whine. Mike almost passed out. Mike knew he had to stop it at that moment, or else he never would, so he pulled away from Will's lips and stared into his eyes. Will looked blissed out, his lips parted and beginning to bruise from how hard Mike had kissed him. His eyes dazed and darkened. "I love you," Mike said, and it came out in one breath. "I love you. I didn't mean to. I tried not to. I thought." "Hey," Will breathed, his arms that were wrapped around Mike's shoulders grounding him. His eyes were wide. "Hey, it's okay." "Well," Mike pleaded, begging him to listen. His voice cracked. "I love you, and I'm scared. I'm so scared." "Mike," Will said, as if Mike was something holy. His hands cradled Mike's cheek, and Mike melted into the touch. "Hey, it's okay. It's okay to be scared. I'm scared. So scared. Okay, but you're brave. You're the heart, Mike. Bravery doesn't mean that there's an absence of fear. It means that there was always something to be scared of, but you overcame it. You do something even though there's something else to be scared of." Mike stared at him, eyes wide. "What if I can't?" "You just did," Will said simply, pride and a little bit of something else mixed into his eyes. Mike's heart swelled, a small and private smile tugging his cheeks. "He did do it, didn't he?" Before he could think about it further, Will blurted, "Say it again." Mike's eyes widened. "What?" "Say it again, Mike," Will said, desperately. He dropped his hands from Mike's shoulders, and Mike felt the loss. "Say, oh." Mike caught himself. He looked Will deeply in the eyes. "I love you." Mike made a surprised sound as Will grabbed the collar of his shirt, pulling him back in and pressing his lips to Mike's. It was steady. Mike made a soft, breathy sound as Will kissed him, as if it were sure and steady fast. And when Will pulled away, he breathed his confession out like a fact, like he'd been waiting years to admit it out loud. "Love you too." Mike went to lean in against him, to kiss the words on Will's lips, to absorb them, to keep them. But the lights flickered, and again, and suddenly the lights were back on. The freezer got up to its usual humming, reality rushing in. Will loosened his grip on Mike's shirt, but doesn't let go, as if he wanted to keep the moment there, right where it was. They blinked at each other, taking everything in. They were still on the floor, Mike's knees digging into the sticky tile. Will was leaning against the lockers, Mike being able to count every freckle on his face in the artificial light. They were breathing the same air. And they laughed, Will holding onto Mike's shirt, throwing his head back against the lockers in laughter. Mike did the same, pressing his head against Will's chest. Years and years of repressed finally coming over in the back room of Scoops Ahoy? Mike pulled back, wiping tears of joy from the corner of his eyes. "Okay, wow." Will just laughed harder, watching Mike's face. Mike glanced down at Will's hand, wrapped around his collar, and smiled down, placing his hand over Will's, covering it, holding the moment with him. Will's laughter faded slightly as Mike looked back at him, leaving in tow a goofy, lovesick smile. Shut up. I didn't even say anything. Mike laughed back. You didn't have to. Will replied, trying to keep his smile, growing any larger by slightly biting his lower lip. The door slammed open behind them, Max bursting in, her sailor hat lopsided. She turned to see them on the floor. She looked between Mike and Will, casting a once-overlooked both of them. She didn't have the decency to look surprised. You have 5 minutes, Wheeler. You have 5 minutes, Wheeler, Max said in a sing-song voice. She smirked, twisting around to head out the door. Make 'em count. When Mike and Will emerged from the room 5 minutes later, Max was cleaning another ice cream scooper. She flashed Will a wink as he babbled a quick goodbye to Mike, saying they'd talk about everything after. Mike agreed, but reached for his hand at the last moment, squeezing it once. After watching Will go, he turned around to look at the store. There was no customers or anything. Max just taking it upon herself to clean, just like she had before. But then, Mike saw it. The whiteboard had gotten a new column. In big, red writing, it spelled out, "You're brave." There was one tally underneath it, one that he didn't put there. He paused for half a second, his heart thundering in his chest, and a warm smile grew on his face. He turned to Max, who was smirking at him. "Thank you," he said, and he meant it. Max quirked an eyebrow at him, reaching over the counter before grabbing a sanitizing wipe to throw at him. It landed square on his chest. "Don't go all soft on me now, Wheeler." "I'd never dream of it," Mike replied, feeling lighter than he had in years. And it was everything. That was so cute. We are reaching the end, though, the next episode. So in 4 days will be the finale of this series, and I will be replacing it with a different, series. Leila Malfoy, I have loved your fics so far. I don't think Chapter 8 is going to change that. Unless Chapter 8 is a breakup, I'm not going to hate this. It's not, right? I didn't see that in the tags. We're good. We're good. So that's the only way I could think of for me to hate the whole fic because of one chapter. They break up. I'm okay with a fight, though. You can make them fight. I love that. But you can't break them up. Or at least if they break up, they can't stay broken up. They gotta stay back together. They gotta go back. Gotta go back. Anyways, this is so cute. I saw what you did with the blue and yellow lighting. That is okay. I see you. The blackout, you definitely added that because of You Took My Heart. I was sleeping. There's no way you didn't do that. There's no way you didn't do that. Okay? There's no way. Which, by the way, I still asked for perms to do that one. I haven't got a message back. It's been 3 months. It's okay. They're a busy person. Whatever. I am still going to reread it myself. You should definitely take a read. It's really good. It is the Byler fic for a reason. This fic, I love it. Scoops Ahoy. The Byler Scoops Ahoy. AU, love it so much. I don't know why. It makes no sense. Why do I love it so much? I don't know. I just do. Okay? The fanfiction that's going to be overtaking this one is a crossover fanfiction. So it's going to be a Bloody Mary fic. So it is the ship between Rylan Grace from Project Hail Mary. And I believe they base it more off of the book than they base it off of the movie, which is fine. If you haven't read the book, you could still read it. You could still listen to it and understand it. I haven't read the book fully yet. I'm barely in chapter 1, so it's okay. And it's also, Rylan Grace from Project Hail Mary and Simon from Iron Lung. It's one of those, yes. I don't know if you've seen it. I love me my Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary be so good. I love, 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 love it. So I'm going to be doing that one. And then I'll see if I have any more Byler, but overall, I want to keep this slot open for other fandoms and stuff like that. So if you guys have any other fandoms or any other fan fictions in general that you want to be seeing, please do, leave them in the comments, stuff like that. Like, inform me. Best to do it through the Discord, though. Trust. Better that way. For me, for you, for the fic to actually be, done. And that's if, of course, the author approves and stuff like that. But this one's going to be saved for that. And then, no, yeah. So we're reeling the end. The next chapter is literally just called Epilogue. It's Epilogue. So summary is New York Byler. We love that. Smirk, give me more. Give me more. Lila Mafo, give me more. I do like Cleric, Will, and Knight, Mike. I don't know why. I love it so much as well. It's just so nice, it makes me smile. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.